So hello everyone, welcome to this presentation. My name is Philippedu. I'm one of the methodology experts, and I don't know whether you were, I think most of you were around last week, and I presented on analyzing social media data using NVivo 11. And so I wasn't able to finish the presentation, and I'll be happy to finish everything today. So this is the part two of this presentation, and then during my presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can type in, and my colleague Dr. Glazek is here. He'll be happy to read the questions to me so that I'll be able to answer your questions. So during my presentation, sometime I will stop for you to ask questions, and so that at the end of the day you get much information here, as much as possible. So I'll go ahead and do the presentation. So for the part two. So let me see. I think we are 7. So I'll go ahead. Can you see my screen? If you can see, just type yes for me. So during last week, I talked about how to analyze data using NVivo and using HPA, which I sometimes find it very difficult to pronounce, hermeneutic phenomenological approach. And as you are aware, the main thing that you are doing is that you are engaging in the kind of interaction with the information the participants have posted or users have posted. So and there's a little bit of limitation because they are not there for them to tell you what exactly the meaning of what they have posted. So, and they are just have to present information within the 140 characters. So there's a limited information, but you can get very rich information from the post. So what can you do? Based on the post, you find out the meaning, right? What is the meaning of the post? What is the possible or potential intent or the purpose of the post? And also talk about the interpretation. Because you are using HPA, the hermeneutic phenomenological approach, you are trying to interpret the text, right? Interpretation always focus on the intent of the person that posted the information, also the meaning, and based on that you'll be able to generate node for you to drop the information. The node is just a container that you create so that you can put that information in. So I'm going to do today. I'm going to do some kind of demonstration, starting from where you upload the information into NVivo, and then we do some kind of coding process, and then we can also analyze and explore the results and see what you're going to get from that. And during the presentation, as I said, if you have any question, you can ask, and I'll be happy to address them for you. So let's go back. Last time what I did was, first of all, you have to download the information from Twitter, right? So you go to your Twitter account. You have to have a Twitter account, right? I think here, not this one. I think this one, yes. So I'm trying to open my Twitter account. So as I said, you have to have and capture software that you have to download. You go to NVivo's website, you can do that, and that information, that icon will be on your browser. So when you search for that information, maybe you are looking for mental health stigma. So all these information will come, and first you have to go through and make sure that they are meaningful information that will help you to address your research question. When you are satisfied with that information, then you click on and capture, and then you'll be able to download that information, right? So you have it, you can download all the information by clicking on capture, and then you go back to NVivo, then you upload that information that you have downloaded from Twitter. So I've already done that. I did demonstrate a little bit last time. So let's start with NVivo and see what we're going to get, the information. So I'm now opening NVivo software, and then you have to wait for it to upload, open. So you click on blank project because we're going to start a new project, and then you type in the name of the project. So I'll call the name of my project MH, like mental health stigma, MH stigma project, right? You can give a description, especially if you have a lot of projects and you just want to know if somebody opening the project, they will know what it's all about. So when you finish, you click on OK. So it will open a workplace for you to start the process. So this is what you're going to see. So what do you have to do? You go to data. Now we have to upload that information. So you go to data, and then you go to from other source, and you click on in capture. And then you can see that I've uploaded a lot of information from in capture. So you choose the one. So I'll select mental health stigma. You choose the one that you want to upload to analyze. And then after that, you click on import. Okay, so when you do that, the information will be here. You double click that, and then you get all the spreadsheets that contain the tweet and also associated information. So you can see here that the Twitter ID is here, the username, the person who posted the tweet, and the tweet itself here. And then you have the dates that they did, whether it's a retweet or it's a tweet. And also the person who posted that information, and also the number of tweets concerning this post. So there's a lot of information that you have. So this is a stage where you just want to know what you have uploaded. So when you scroll down, you can see that you have 92 tweets, right? You have 92 tweets. And then when you look at your right hand side, you can see that you can click here and look at the map, and you see where the tweet came from. So you can see that they came from north inside of North America, and then you can see the places that the information came from. You can also see that worldwide. I don't know where this place is located. You can click on that, and then the information about the tweet will come. So you can see all the 19 tweets that are from that place. So this is just to give you an idea about where the information is coming from, right? This is the beginning. You want to learn about the information that you have got it. You can also click on chat, and it will give you based on the username. You can see that the first user has tweeted 20 times, and then concerning the issue related to mental health stigma. And you can see the second one has tweeted 9 times. So you can just give you an idea about who is tweeting what and how many. I think there's a question coming in. How do I get NVivo on the tweet menu bar? Okay, so I think last week I talked about that. You can even email me and I will send you the link. I think Dr. Glazik, there's a link on my PowerPoint that you can post. I think I'm looking for that information. I think it's, let me see. Oh, it's here. So it's slide 10. Dr. Glassick will post that link, and then you'll be able to. It's free. You can just go there and click and upload that information. Get there and capture. Any other question for me before I go on? Okay, so and also another good about this is that you can change information. Um, let's say, okay, let me click here. Oh, okay. So you can also click, I think cluster analysis doesn't give much information, but you can click and see what you're going to get. For the chart, you can also go to select data and maybe with respect to, let's say you want to change to see, this is based on a username. Maybe you want to see it based on maybe the location. Yeah, so you can see that based on the location where the tweets are coming from. So you can, manipulate your information and see what you're going to get based on the hashtag that they use. So there's a lot of things that you just have to learn a little bit about your data before you move ahead and do the analysis. Okay, so after that, you still double click. You double click this one and you can go, I think this one is form, oh, the table. So you click on the table so that you can get a spreadsheet. So, okay, so now the next step is to do data cleaning. I think I talked about it last week. So data cleaning is, exporting this data back to Excel and then clean up, right? Clean up the data and bring it back again, right? It's a little bit of, it's not all that difficult job, but you always think about the fact that there are a lot of information here that you don't need, right? So it makes sense to just export it and clean it up and bring it back. So if you want to export it, you just click here, you click on the data and the spreadsheet, and then you click on export, and then you can export that information. Last week I demonstrated how to clean the data, so because of time I don't want to go through and give step-by-step information. You can look at my first video on this presentation that will help you to get that information. Okay, so after you have cleaned up the data, then you have to bring it back again to NVivo to do the analysis. How do you do that? So before I do that, let me show you the clean data that I have. I think that will help you to know how it looks like. So you can see here that I've deleted some of the columns. I only have row IDs there. I have the username. That might be important because sometimes only analyzing this information might not help you to better address your research questions. Sometimes you have to see whether you can contact some of the users, right, and maybe interview them or ask for more information. So that's why the username is very important to keep it in case you want to go back and maybe email them and say, okay, you posted this information, can you give me more about this so that I can understand and maybe address my research question that I have. So it's also very important for you to keep the username. And you can see here that it's a type of data, whether it's retweet, tweet, or tweet, and also number of tweets, the hashtag that they use associated with a post, and a website. Sometimes when they post, they add a website there. Might be very useful, especially when they did not really post a lot of information. You can click on the link and get a little bit of information about what their intent and also the meaning of the tweet. So, and also the followers. There's a number of followers for the person who tweeted that information. I think that will also be important because the higher the number of followers, the higher the influence of the tweet. Because when you have about 19,000 followers and then you tweet that information, because they're gonna spread out compared to having only 4 followers. So that information might be also important for you to keep. So the other information you just delete and then you move on. And then any question? So the the RT means retweet. So whenever it starts with RT, it means that the person is retweeting that information that has already been tweeted by somebody. So when you finish cleaning your data, you save it and then you close it. You will have to close it, because if you don't close it, you cannot upload that information to Twitter, to the system for you to do the analysis. So after you have cleaned the data, you go to data, and then you import it as a survey. It doesn't mean that the data is a survey, but the software associated with the system uploading as a survey will help you to reorganize your data for you, right? It will reorganize the data, and it will help you when you do the analysis. You can even connect demographic information to the real theme that you identify. So that's why I always encourage students to upload that information as a survey, right? So you click on that, and then you look for the information you have saved. So I go here, and this information I've saved. So I double click that. And these are the explanation that it's just telling you that this is how your data will be reorganized, right? So your data that you are importing, the system is assuming that you are importing a survey. So sometimes you just have to interpret it based on what the information that you are importing. So the system saying that, okay, it's going to divide them into three main containers, right? The first container will be cases. So this means that it's going to import that information and group them into cases. Each case will contain a tweet with associated information. So that so when you open a case, you let's say if you have 92 tweets, you're going to have 92 cases. Each case, when you open it, you have the tweet and also associated information like the type of tweet, the the person who tweeted that information, and other information that are associated with the tweet, right? So that's how the information will be reorganized. The second one is the attribute. Attributes are anything associated with their tweet that you are not going to code, but just think about it as demographic information. Let's assume that the tweet are participants, right? So let's say the type of tweet will be attributes. They are demographic information that will help you to know the kind of tweet, that give you more description about how the type, whether it's a retweet or tweet, and other demographic information that we talk about, like the user, the person who is who tweeted that information. So anything that you are not going to analyze or you are not going to code, but it's associated with a tweet, will go to attributes. Attributes are I'll call it demographic information. Just assume that if they are participants, demographic information will be like gender, right? So attribute can be gender, and then the value under the attribute will be the categories, male and female. So that's how all the attributes associated with a tweet will go into this container. And the last container is the tweet itself. All the 792 tweets will go here, and this is what you're going to analyze, right? So that's just an explanation to you. So you click on next. So this one is just to show you how the data will look like, the spreadsheet will look like in the system, just to give you some kind of information. So you can see that it will provide a username, the tweet itself, the type, the number of tweets, the hashtag that it was used, the website, the number of tweets here, the followers, and also the number of people that are following the person who tweeted that information. So you go to next. You don't do anything here. You go to click on next again. So here is to help you to make sure that everything is fine for you to upload. So remember that this one was done for a survey. It wasn't done for a tweet. So you have to interpret it as part of the survey. All close-ended are things that you are not going to analyze in terms of code. All the coding items will be open-ended, right? So you can see that the tweet will be coded, so you make sure that this has been checked, not this one. open-ended, so that the system will give you the chance for you to analyze or code this information. All the rest are not going to be coded. All the things that are not going to be coded, you check close-ended. All the things that will be coded, will check open-ended. You can see that only tweet will be coded, so you check this one here. And then you click on finish. And then that information will come to here. So as you can see here, we have 93 notes or tweets, and then it gives you the spreadsheet. You can see that the information that will be tweeted is the background is white. The one that will be treated is ash. If I'm not I think the background is ash. I'm sure, yes. So okay, so what you have to make sure is that this is what you're going to analyze or code. The rest are demographic information, as I said, associated with the tweet. And then when you click from, this will give you individual tweet and the information that are associated. So this one is from the first person. Oh no, this one is from the second person. You can click here, you can see the third tweet and the associated information. You can scroll down and see. So this one is what you're going to analyze, right? Going to analyze this information. I think there's a question coming. Dr. Glazik, do you want to help me with these questions? Oh, you're asking whether this one will work for Mac computer. You know, I'm not using Mac, so I don't know what, but I think it will work because, and I think that there might be a different way of doing it in Mac. They have videos on that. When you go to NVivo website, they have a lot of videos on those who have Mac computer. I haven't used that. I use only PC, so you can find out from when you go to the website. But based on my experience, I think the PC is more user-friendly for this software than Mac. That's my personal experience. So I always advise students to use Mac for the analysis. No, for the PC for the analysis of Mac. But I think there should be videos on that too to help. So I think after you have downloaded information, then you can explore and see what is really going on. I think one way of exploring is go to query. I think I did it last week, so I'm going to be very fast here because of time. So you can just do some word frequency and see the kind of words they use for these tweets. You click on that and then you go to select items, and then remember that there are going to be two kinds of data that you've imported. The unclean one, the raw data that you have here, and then the clean one. So you have to make sure that you are using the clean one. We are not using the first one that we did because it has not been clean yet. So you check that and you click on OK, and then you bring this one to the middle. I always do that, and then you click on Run Query. So this one will give you information about the kinds of words that they use and how many times. So you can see here that this one, mental health stigma, have been used, the hashtag mental health have been used 89 times. It's not surprising because that is what we use to search for the information from the Twitter, right? So most of the tweets will have this kind of information. What is interesting is that ashamed word was used 23 times. One thing that you can click on word cloud and to see which the visual representation of the words, and the bigger the word, the higher the frequency of being used in their tweet. You can also change it to make it nice. So this one also, if you want to, when you are presenting your finding, you want to show this information, you can right click and then export that information, and you'll be able to present it if you want to talk about this during your presentation. Another option that I use is to type snipping tool, right? When you type here snipping tool, this information, this icon will show, and you click on that, and then you'll be able to cut that information, and then you copy and paste it on your presentation. You can do that. I think the shorter way, but the other way is to just export this information, and then you can use when you export it. I think in either in PDF or other forms, so you'll be able to export that. So based on this, you can see that the words that are bigger, so you can see mental, you can see shame, and let me see, where is ashamed? Ashamed is here. So sometimes what you're going to do is you want to find out, okay, in what context do they use ashamed, right? And so you can search for that information by going to query again and clicking on test search and just type ashamed, and then any similar words, and then you click on select items, you go here, you choose the one that is clean, and then you click on run, and you'll be able to see, click on word tree, and you see how the word ashamed is used. You can, if you want to know more about a lot of words before, you can click on this one. You can increase the word before and after to know how it was used. You can see it. Mental health is nothing to be. And then you go here, ashamed of, but stigma and bias, shame us all. So this is how it was used, right? And you can also get more information about that. And you can also export the information if you want to talk about it, or you can use snipping tool to capture that and also present that information. So there are a lot of ways. You can search for another information. We can really search for shame and run it and see how shame is used. So you can see how the shame is used in this context. So there are many ways that you can search for words that you are interested in. This is all more of exploring your data and see what is going on. Any question before we start the coding process? Or I should give you, okay, I can open, you can also speak if you want to. Mute all of you. So if you have a question, you can ask me. If you don't have, I can go on and do the presentation. Okay, I think there's no question coming, so I can mute you all. Okay, so then we start the coding process. So what you have to do is all about your research question. Let your research question drive the study. So for me, this is my research question. I have two research questions here that I want to address. What should be done to combat mental health stigma? And the second one, how do Twitter users perceive mental health stigma? So these are the two research questions that I want to address, right? So you're going to analyze your data with these research questions in mind. So you have to create a node or a container so that you can put all the significant information that are going to help you to address your research question in, right? So what do you have to do? So you have to come up with a name or a label for each of your research questions. For my first research question, I came up with combating mental health stigma. In my second research question, I came up with perspective on mental health stigma. So I'm going to use that to create node, and so that I drop all the significant information under each of the research questions. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to address your research question. Because what you are doing right now is make sure that you are developing themes that are doing two things. They are addressing the research question at the same time representing the information, the tweet that you have, right? So what do you have to do? So you click on node first, and then you right click on this node and you click on new folder, right? Because you have to create a folder. So I will call my folder nodes about mental health stigma, right? Because that's what I'm going to create. I'm going to create nodes about mental health. And then you can give a description, and then you click on OK. So this is the node, and then you click on that node that you have created, right? And when you click on it, it will show here, and then under that you right click and create two nodes, one node for each of the research questions. So the first research question is related to combating mental health stigma. So you bring that information here, right? So so that at the end of the day you create node and put them under the research question so that you'll be able to address the research question that you have. So you have to check aggregate, and then you click on OK. So when you do that, you see that the research question one label is here where you're going to code and bring them down. And then you can also create for the second research question, which is about their perspective of mental health stigma. I'm trying to just copy and paste so that to be faster. Let me see. Copy and paste. So you type the label for the research question, and in parentheses we say RQ2 because it's a research question. And also in the description you can also bring the research question there to remind you that this is for the research question 2. And after that you click on OK. So you can see that I have two research questions here. Let me pull this one a little bit. That I'm going to code the information under. And remember that you are using hermeneutic phenomenological approach, right? And then so you are using hermeneutic phenomenological approach. So you have to always go through this process: the meaning of the tweet, the intent of the person, the interpretation, and based on that you come up with a node, right? That will represent the data and at the same time address the research question that you have. So we can start the process, the coding process. I'm going to, because of time, I'm going to do about few coding system just to give you a brief information about that. And then we move on to the second stage or the next stage. So for the first tweet, you look at this is the retweet, right, from this user, right? And the person I think is talking about walk a mile, right? So based on this, it looks like the person want to organize a walking campaign to promote mental health stigma, right? To promote awareness of mental health stigma. So looking at this tweet, right, you highlight that and then you create a node. So you right click it and you click on code, and then remember that we created, you go back here, you click on this one and all the research question will be there, and you ask yourself, which research question is this information answering? I think it's answering the first research question because it's talk about creating awareness in combating mental health stigma, right? So you highlight that information, you just click on that research question, and then you click on new because you are creating a node, right? And that is the first research question. And then you can call that organizing a walking campaign, right, as a node. Why should I use organizing a walking campaign? This information is trying to promote, it's trying to promote mental health, awareness of mental health stigma, right? By organizing a campaign. And if I do use this label, it's also addressing this research question about what can we do to combat mental health stigma. You organize a walk-in campaign promoting mental health awareness and also maybe promoting mental health stigma, right? So you create a node and answer this research question, and when you finish, you click on OK. When you do that, it will show up here. When you click plus here, you can see that I've created a node representing this tweet are the same as addressing my research question on one. Can we do another one? Let's see. We can try the second, or maybe let's try the third tweet, right? You have to go through all the tweet, but because of time, let's try the third tweet. So the third tweet here says that I just need help from someone who doesn't know I have bipolar, so I can be treated equally. And then hashtag mental health. So this is the thing. You don't know the person, right? But you want to understand the intent of the person. So what is the intent of this person? I think I did an example on the PowerPoint here. So first of all, maybe you have to start with the meaning. What's the meaning of this tweet? The meaning is that don't treat people differently because they have mental health illness, right? And another meaning is people with mental health illness such as bipolar are not they are not threat, right, to us. So that's the meaning that you can get from this, or there can be other meanings, but based on my analysis, this is the two meanings that I got from it. What is the intent of the person? To promote acceptance and equal treatment, right? That's the intent of the person who posted this information. And then what is the interpretation of that? To show compassion to those who have mental health illness. And then you can create a node, and the node can be called equal treatment irrespective of the person's mental health condition. So you see how you pass this process, you'll be able to create a node based on the post. So when you create a node, you first highlight that information, you right click, you click on code, and then you are putting it's about combating mental health. So you click on that research question and you click on new, and then you type in the name of the node, and then you click on OK. So you can see that the node has come here, right? So that's how you're going to do. You're going to go through all the tweet, and then based on that, you'll look at the meaning, the intent, and the interpretation. And based on that, you'll be able to create node to address the research question at the same time representing the data that you have. Is there any question for me? So you go through the process and then see what you're going to get. So whenever you want to create a new node, you always have to look at the existing node, whether it's representing the data. So let's go to tweet 64. So this tweet 64, I think is also talking about walk-in campaign. So this one, you don't have to create a new node. You just have to drop this information to the node that you have already created, which is organizing walk-in campaign. So you drag that information, you highlight and drag that information and drop it inside. So you can see that when I drop it, the reference has moved to 2, right? Because we have 2 significant information that we have dropped in. When you look through, you go through each of the data, the tweet, you always have to think about, is there any existing tweet that you have created that can a tweet existing node that you can drop it in. If there's no existing node that is related to the tweet, then you create a new one, right, to represent the data that you have. So that's how you're going to, you go through all the data, and then let's do the last one. Let's see the last one. Oh, there's a question coming. Dr. McFidis, thank you for, I think, what did you say? Let me see. Okay, you said that I'm doing a great job. Okay, thank you for attending. Okay, so let's do the last one, and then we move on to the next stage. Let's see. Let's go to the fourth tweet. So the fourth one is try to say that welcome to, this page, or say welcome to our official Twitter page for this. So I think for this one, what you have to do is sometimes for only this information, you might not understand what is going on. So that's sometimes you have to click on the link that has been provided to get more information about this. So you can, when I click on this, I can see that it's taking me to a website that talks about promoting, giving a platform for people to discuss mental health and stigma. So this one gives you a little bit of information about why the person tweeted that information, right? So based on this, it looks like the person want to promote, create a platform where people can go and have a discussion concerning mental health stigma or mental health. So what label can you give to this tweet that will help you to address maybe your first research question? So it might be creating an online mental health platform, right? So if you come up with a node name, you right click and go to create code, and then you click on the research question one and click on new, and then you bring that information as creating an online mental health platform, right? And then you click on OK. So you do the same thing, and then you can see that that information is here, clicking on. So you go through all the data, and then you come up with themes or node that represent the data that you have. Okay, so thank you for coming. Somebody said she wants to sign off. Okay, yeah, thank you for coming, Chris. Okay. So do you have any question for me before I move on to the next stage? So just assume that we have done all the analysis, we have coded all the data that we have. So the next step is to categorize the data. How do you do that? You look whether there's a relationship between the node that you have, and then if there's a relationship, you just see, okay, can you bring organizing a working campaign under maybe creating online platform? If there's any relationship, this is just an example. If there's a relationship, you can just highlight and then move it and drop it under this node. So you can see that this information is under this node, right? So that's how you can categorize. So you categorize based on the relationship between the nodes, and then you can group them. At the end of the day, you come up with about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 themes that are addressed in the research question that you have. So that's how we do concerning the coding process. And you have to make sure sometimes what you can, sometimes when you're doing the analysis, you can change your mind concerning how you want to label this information. You can just right click and then go to node properties, and then you can, change the label if you think you have a new label or name that best represent the data that you have. You can change it and type it in. and then you can give a description of what this theme is all about, right? Sometimes if you don't do that, you may forget what this theme or node represents, so you can give a description like explanation concerning this, kind of all the meaning of this node. And you have to check aggregate coding from child node in case you want to bring code node under this. It will add up and in terms of reference. So let's say if you want to bring this node under this one, it will add up to 4 because this this one was only one reference. So it's always good to click on aggregate so that when you bring a node under that, it will all the reference will add up to be the total information representing the data, representing the information that you have. So that's how we do it. I'll close this one and go back to the one that I've already analyzed so that to show you how it looks like. So let me close it and open it again and show you what I've done so far. This is just an illustration. Because of time, I can't go through everything, but I have a final product for you to see how I did this. Okay, so when you click on node, I click on this one. So you can see that for each research question, I created node under that, and also I brought some of the information that are that you think is under the main node. So that if it's under, if you want to bring this information under this, you just highlight it and move it and drag it and drop it in here. So that's how I was able to come up with all these nodes. So as you can see here, there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 themes that are addressing this research question, right? So you can see the 6 themes here, and under each of the themes there are sub-themes. So when you click on here, you can see sub-themes. The same thing here, the second research question, we have 1, 2, 3 themes, and you can see here that the references is how many times do you drop significant information into a specific node. So for this node, I dropped 21 tweets into this one. And also under this, I dropped 40 tweets. So you can see that the higher the number, the dominant that information, right? So you can see that maybe a lot of participants were talking about creating awareness of mental health and its stigma. So this is how you create that information. So then what do you do next? So the first option is to, you can present your findings. You can export this information. You can go to export. Where is export? Yes, you can export that information and maybe you can use that to write your results. But you can do further analysis and see what is going on. The first analysis that you could do is to go to query and go to metrics. So let's say you want to find out specific themes that is related to the specific user, right? So you want to connect the user to the themes that you have. So what can you do? You click on, let me start again. You click on metrics coding and you click on, for the role, you click on select here and you select that information that you want to conduct metrics. So the first one is you go to the node and you click on node about mental health and you can see all the research questions and then the node under that, and then you choose the node that you want to see you find out who, which user said what, or how these nodes or codes or themes are linked to the users. Sometimes you have to do that to find out maybe if you want to contact the user to get more information about what you have found. I think you could do this kind of analysis. So you click on OK, and you click on Add List. So to bring that information here, you go to Column, and you do the same thing. Now you choose users. Where do you get that information? You go to um, code classification, and that will give you information about the users. So you can see the username here. You click on plus, and then you can, I think there are a lot of users here. You can choose which user you want to focus on. I think I'll be interested in this person, the user called Walk a Mile UK. And so you choose the ones that you are interested in. You can choose all of them, but the purpose of this demonstration, I'll choose few of them. And you click on OK, and you click on Add, and then you click on Run. So this one will give you a table just to give you information about, based on the themes that you have developed for the first research question, what is going on with each of the users. So you can see that the user called Walk a Mile UK, there's 9 tweets that are associated with creating awareness of mental health and its stigma, right? So you can see that this user can be linked with this information. You can also scroll to your right and can see that the second user is this person also. There are 2 tweets that are associated with creating awareness. So you'll be able to see, just a table to see the users and also the kind of themes that are associated with them, right? And you can click on chat, and this chat will give you information about visual representation concerning the users. And so here you can see here that you can see that the user walk a mile, and you can see a number of counts, and also the theme, which is creating awareness of mental health and its stigma. So you can also export this information if you want to present and talk about it. If it's useful for you, you can export and then present this information. So this is a visual representation of the metrics. So if you click on here, you get a table. You can also export this table in Excel, and then that can show you which themes are linked to which user. So you can do a visual representation of the data that you have. Another option is to do cluster analysis, right? Cluster analysis will help you to see whether there's any kind of relationship among the themes that you have developed, and also whether you can tell a story based on the relationship. So what can you do? So I think we finished this one. So let's go to the next one. You go to Explore, and you click on Cluster Analysis, and then you click on Node, and you click on Next, and you select what you want to do the analysis on. So you click on this one, and we want to do the analysis on the main themes under the 2 research questions. So you check all the themes that came under the 2 research questions, and then you click on OK, and you are not looking for word similarities, you are looking for coding similarities, and then you click on Finish. So this is what you're going to get, right? So this information will give you to help you to see which how are the themes related. So we have, it looks like the be ashamed of be ashamed of stigma, but not mental illness. It's related to creating awareness of mental health and its stigma, right? The system say that there's kind of some kind of relationship. And also both are also linked with taking a stand against the mental health by public leaders and also influential people. So in for just for all these three or these two themes, you can see whether there's some kind of relationship or a story that we can come up with. Maybe I can come up with a story. So what you can say is that I think that if influential leaders and public leaders take a stand concerning the fact that we should not be ashamed of stigma, but mental health is it will lead to creating awareness of mental health and its stigma. See how I've created a story. This is a rough one because it came from my mind. So, and you can also go up here and see, okay, we have there are four themes that are associated. Difficulty of overcoming the stigma, and also generating funding to combat mental health stigma, holding the public officials accountable, and also making mental health care policies. So can you tell a story based on this? Right. So I think that it's very to combat mental health, we have to hold our public officials accountable, right? And also we have to also create funds to combat stigma. And yes, there's a difficulty in overcoming stigma, but if we create funds to combat it and also we hold public officials accountable and we also create policies, mental health care policies and plan, we'll be able to combat mental health. You see how I'm telling a story based on this relationship between your themes. Another interesting thing that you can do another um, um, s- um, the cluster analysis by doing the same thing, but now you're going to include all the sub themes and see whether you can tell a story based on the sub themes and the themes. So you check all the sub themes, click on the plus, check all of them, check all of them. Scroll down. Make sure you don't check the research question. You are checking only the themes and the sub themes. Click on OK. You are looking for code similarity, and then you click on Finish. So you can see here that you can also tell a story here. So let me come up with a story. You can see here that, okay, let me try this one. You can see here that the organizing walking campaign, organizing hiking campaign, and also making policies and also law enforcement, involving law enforcement in combating stigma. So if we organize a walking campaign and also involve law enforcement in combating stigma, we'll be able to, and also enact policies to overcome policies related to mental health care, we'll be able to overcome mental health stigma, right? So you can see that based on the relationship between the themes and the subthemes, you can come up with a story and then you can export this information and then use it as your presentation, right? When you are presenting your findings, especially when you want to know the relationship between the themes and the themes and the sub-themes that you have developed. And also, if you want to get more information about the source of the themes, you can double click that and that information will, you can know the source of this theme that came up. So when I click on that, I can see the traits that are related to having mental health, um, creating a plan, mental health care plan for people, for us. So you can click on that, any of them, and it will take you to the tweet. And also, if you want to know the source of the tweet, who tweeted this information, you can click on data set, and you can see that it's from ID 64, and then you can go back to see your data and see who is 64. You go to source, you go to click on that, and you can look for the person who is 64, and you can get more information about that person. So that's how we do it. So there's a lot of ways that you can do your analysis and come up with illustrations that will help you to communicate your information to your audience. So I think the time is already up, but let me do the last analysis, and then we can call it a day. But if you have any questions, you can ask me. Do you have any question for me before I do the last one analysis? Let me give you a chance to speak if you want to talk. I can, if you have any question, you can ask before I go on. I don't want to bombard you with a lot of information, and then maybe you are not understanding what I'm presenting. Okay, so I'm recording it. Somebody was asking whether he can get a copy of this presentation. I'm recording it. I'll post it on YouTube, so you'll be able to get access to the video, and you will be able to do. So there's a lot of things that you can do to analyze and get some information that will help you to address your research question that you have, and also communicate it well to your audience. So let's do the last one, and then we call it a day. You click on explore, and then you go to project map, and then you give a name to the project. So let's say I just want to create the links, any information. This is one of the code or the node that I created. I just want to find out the relationship, which kind of information is linked to this node. I want to visualize that information. So you click on OK, and this is what you're going to see. Here you move this to the side, and you go to add a project item. So I look for a node that talks about creating an online platform. So I can see creating an online. Okay, so I can see here the subcode called creating an online platform. I just want to know how it's related to other information. So you check that and click on here. Okay, so when you finish, you right-click that information here, and you click on Show Associated Items. So when you click on that, it will, on your left side, it will show information that are linked to this theme. So you click on here, and then you can see that there is a node that is associated with this node. This one is, I think, is a sub node. So you can see, you can drag this information to your right side, and you can see that creating awareness of mental health and its stigma also is a child. This one is a child node of this one. So this one comes under this, right? So this is a parent node, and this is a child node, right? So let's say you want to see any information associated with this kind of node. So you right click it again and you click associated node, and you can see you can click here, click there, and you can bring this information here. You can see here that um, there is all these information are node under this. So they are all child. This one is a parent node and these are child node. They all come under this one, right? And if you are not interested in that, you can just click on it and click on delete, and then you move on to another one. What I'm interested in, I want to see the cases that are associated with this node. I think there's a lot of cases that are associated with it, but let me try this one first. Let me click on this sub. Okay, so you can see that there are about 6 cases associated with this child node, right? So you can bring all, you click here and then go down here and click on shift and click on the last one, and then you right click and bring all of the information to your right side. So it looks like it doesn't look nice, so there's an option here that you can click here and then it can arrange them nicely for you, right? So you have options here too. So I think this, and then you can move some of the things here that you can visualize. So you can see here that the numbers here say that the tweet numbers, right? So tweet 40, 64, 61, tweet 4, tweet 76, tweet 81, tweet 82 and 83 are related to this child node, right? So, and also all of them are also related to the main one, the parent node. So let's say you are presenting information about this child node, you can do this visual representation for people to know how they are related, how they are linked, right? And also, you can also click on each of them and see, let's say you want to find out which user are linked to this information. So you can click on each of the tweet and then click on show associated item. And then when you go to attributes and you go to the survey and go to the username, you can see that for tweet 61, this is the user. You double click that and then you can see that now I can say that this user tweeted this information which is related to this child node and which is related to this parent node. See that? You can do the same thing to the next one. So there's a lot of things that you can explore and do. You can just explore and try things out and then see what you're going to get and see whether you can communicate that information. If it doesn't make sense to you, don't use it as your presentation because you cannot explain it. But if it makes sense to you, you should use it so that your audience can visualize what you found. So as you can see, it doesn't look nice. Whenever it doesn't look nice to you, go here and it can reshape it the way that you want. So you can see here that it has reshaped it nicely for you. So after that, you can export it and then you can use it as a presentation, right? Part of your presentation. You can see that these are this Twitter user tweeted this 3 information that is related to this and related to that. So that's how you kind of do it. Yes, it's very nice. It makes your audience understand what you found out, right? Instead of just presenting them about the themes, you can also present a visual representation. I did some cool information that I just want to show them to you. So this is what I did. I did this one too. You can see how I did it. At the same process, I just explore and then you get that information. If you want to make it larger, you click on this place, you can see what you found. I also did this one, explore ideas. I did this one, explore, oh, this one too, right? So you can see that you can even use this to tell your story based on combating mental health, right? So this is the research question. You can see a chart. This is a theme, two themes under that research question, right? Promoting the need to show um, empathy and understanding, and it was treated by this is a tweet and tweeted by this person, right? So you can see that this information too um, is tweeted by this person and related to this tweet. So there are many ways you can create a create a new. You click here and create a new project, and you can also come up with great ideas, and that will help you to communicate your information. Um, so how do you use this map to answer your research question? Perfect. Okay, so whenever you are communicating, so I have a PowerPoint that talks about presenting your findings, telling the story. I'm so sorry I'm taking a lot of your time, but you can leave if you want because I'm recording it. I'll be able to. Okay, so I think last time, I think a month or I think 2 months ago, I did a presentation on presenting your findings. So this is how you could use, this is for if you are doing an interview, but I think you can make interpretation, you can use the same information for presenting your information about a tweet. So So let's say you are talking about the demographic information, right? So you can use that table, you can create information, you can use the project map to create information to help to present your findings concerning demographic information. So there are many ways that you could use, um, especially when you present your research question, you present your themes, and then when you are describing a theme, and then you can create, let's say you are presenting a theme called promoting the need to show empathy and understanding. You can create a project map that are linked to the a specific tweet and also linked to a user so that you can help you to um, demonstrate the meaning of the themes and also how many people are making reference to the theme. So it helps to communicate your findings. So if you look at review my presentation on presenting your findings, I think that will give you some ideas about how to use these figures to present your findings for your audience to understand. Okay, so any questions before I leave? Any question? Let me open. I think my presentation is ending very soon. I just want to find out whether you have a question for me. Yeah, if you can email me, I can send you this PowerPoint. If you want this PowerPoint, I can send it to you if you email me. Okay, let me show you my email address before I go. So if you want us to have one-on-one discussion about what we talk about, you can email ncade.me at the Chicago School, and then you'll be able to schedule a meeting with me and have a discussion. If you want to email me, this is my email address. If you want to follow me on Twitter, this is my Twitter username. And any question for me before I go? I hope this one was beneficial to you. Any question? If not, we can call it a day. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you being here. Okay.